go ahead and let everybody else in.
And
should
just
have
give me
3
the
people.
thumbs up when you're ready.
Okay. It looks like everyone from the waiting room is in. So Rhonda, you can go ahead and get started.
Okay, it is Friday, March 28th, 2025. I call this special meeting of the Elizabeth School District to order at 8:02 p.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Director Callahan,
Here.
Director Fletcher. Director Fletcher,
Who's on mute?
Unmute Dave.
okay. We'll give him a minute.
Dave, unmute.
Should we wait or
Go,
keep going?
go ahead. Keep
Yeah,
going.
we can rotate through.
Okay, Director Olson,
Here,
Director Powell,
Here.
Director Waller,
I am present.
and I think Dave dropped off, right?
He did.
Yeah, I'll watch the waiting room.
okay.
Madam President, you've got a quorum. You can go ahead and start the meeting.
Okay. So, I move to accept the agenda of
We gotta
this
do the-
special meeting as present. Oh, I'm skipping the Pledge of Allegiance here. All right, let's do the pledge. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
to the
flag
flag
of the
of the
United States of America and to the
to the
republic
republic for which it
which
stands,
stands
One
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with
liberty
liberty
and justice for all.
Okay, I move that we accept the agenda of this special meeting as presented.
I second.
Any discussion? Okay,
No.
can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan
Hi.
and Director Fletcher,
Fletcher, unmute.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
Director Waller,
Aye.
and Director Fletcher. Can you hear us now? Okay, not sure what's going on, but he is present, it appears.
Okay, motion approved. I move that the board go into executive session per Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402 4B. Conferences with an attorney for the purposes of receiving legal advice relating to the Crookshanks et al. Versus Elizabeth School District legal case. Those present in the executive session will be members of the board, Superintendent Dan Snowberger, Board Clerk Jamie Glazebrook, District Legal Counsel Brad Miller, Julian Ellis with First and 14th Law Firm, Laura Ellis with First and 14th Law Firm, and Chris Murray with First and 14th Law Firm. Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Director Callahan,
Hi.
Director Fletcher. Okay. Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, motion
Okay.
approved.
All right, give me a moment and I'll move our guests out into the waiting room. Folks in the waiting room, we will bring you back in as soon as we are back. Okay, I think I've got everyone in the waiting room now.
Okay,
So-
Dave is having some issues with his computer. He's gonna
Can you
try.
hear though?
Pardon?
Is he able to hear?
Can he call in?
I guess the question is, can he hear? If he can hear, then,
Okay. He said it's updating.
okay.
He can always vote if he has to by chat.
Mhm.
Well, we won't be voting in executive
sure.
session.
Well, that's true. We won't be
But later
voting
in
yet.
the meeting.
Yeah.
I'm asking if he can hear us.
Let's go ahead and proceed as though there's 4 members present. If we can get him to reconnect somehow, then we'll note that when that happens. And so I'll speak into this at this point, Rhonda, or would you like to bring us to order in here?
Okay, so we are in executive session. So can I get a roll call of who's in the room?
Do we need to make a motion?
Let's go ahead and let me just, this is Brad Miller speaking,
Mhm.
legal counsel for the district. Present in the room are directors Rhonda Olson, Mary Powell, John Waller, Mike Callahan, and Superintendent Dan Snowberger, Board Secretary Jamie Glazebrook, Chris Murray, Laura and Julian Ellis from the First and 14th Law Firm, and Brad Miller, legal counsel to the district. I see that David Fletcher has now just joined the room. David, can you verbalize that you're in?
Yeah, I'm a little worried. We've got 2 David Fletchers, so.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Hey, David, is the other one you two?
Yeah, the other one's me too. I'm gonna try to keep working on that one.
All right.
Are you okay if I just remove that one for right now? Since you're in?
Sure. Yeah, I'll just stay on my phone.
Great. David, while I've got you, can you verify that you are in a position where you can't be heard by others, then what we're discussing can't be heard by others?
Yeah, nobody's down here in the
Mike,
basement.
same question. Mike Callahan, can anyone in the room hear what we're talking about?
No,
John,
Nope.
Mary,
No.
Rhonda?
No.
Okay. So we're here in executive session, properly convened. This is Brad Miller, legal counsel for the district. It's my opinion that what's going to ensue at this moment is that provision of confidential and privileged legal counsel by the First and 14th Law Firm. And so it is going to be appropriate for us to turn off the recording. And it is now 8:10. Dan or Jamie, I'm asking that you turn off the recording. This is Brad Miller. It's 9:03 p.m. We're still in executive session. It's my opinion that what has just ensued was a provision of legal advice by the First and 14th team, related questions and answers that were legal in nature. No votes were taken, no decisions were made. It was all appropriate. And I've asked that the recorder be back on. We are continuing an executive session at this time.
Okay,
Need
I
a
move
motion.
that the board come out of executive session at 9:03 p.m. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
and Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay,
motion approved.
I'll go ahead and readmit everyone. Okay, everyone is back in.
Okay. So now we're on to action items. The first one that we have is disposition of book donations. So The district has received a donation of books from the law firm of Wheeler, Trigg, and O'Donnell containing the books listed on page 6 of this agenda. Tonight, the board will determine their disposition. So as we look at these books again, I encourage us to remember services guiding protocols, which state the district's aim to ensure students have access to age-appropriate materials that have educational merit and help with the attainment of course objectives as they relate to our academic standards. Ultimately, does the material support our curriculum and academic mission? The key areas to focus on tonight as we decide whether to accept the donation of any of these books comes down to age level appropriateness, educational merit, and the alignment of the content with our curriculum and academic mission. So for the purpose of expediting this process tonight, I'm going to break this up into 5 motions. I'm going to group the books according to their ratings on BookLooks, and as you recall, we relied heavily on BookLooks in the review process. So motion number 1, I move that the board deny acceptance of The Bluest Eye, The Kite Runner, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, 19 Minutes, and Identical, all books donated and intended for the high school library. In addition to these books not supporting our adopted curriculum, these books contain profanity and derogatory terms, sexual activities, including sexual assault and battery, as well as sexual molestation, inflammatory racial and religious commentary and references, prostitution involving minors and adults, sexual nudity, violence, alcohol and drug use, controversial social and political commentary, hate, abortion, suicide commentary, and suicidal ideations. All of these books are rated as a 4 on BookLooks rating system, which indicates adult content not to be read by children under 18. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. I'll start off. Again, these books are rated as adult content, not for children under 18. I see no educational merit nor alignment with our curriculum or our standards.
I would agree. As I stated multiple times in my declaration, we were looking for age appropriateness and we were looking for educational content that is going to support our curriculum. And these do not, in our opinion, in my opinion, as I voted on these to begin with. And I would definitely vote that we do not accept the donation of these books because of that. And if anyone, I would actually like to read an excerpt from one of these books that is part of this motion, The Kite Runner. This is, again, it is rated as a number 4, which is not for minors, not for any person under 18. On page 66 of that book, this is a quote from that book. Hassan lay with his chest pinned to the ground. Kamal and Wally each gripped an arm, twisted and bent at the elbow, so that Hassan's hands were pressed to his back. Asaf was standing over them, the heel of his snow boots crushing the back of Hassan's neck. Fine, Asaf snapped. All I want you weaklings to do is hold him down. Can you manage that? Wally and Kamal nodded. They looked relieved. Asaf knelt behind Hassan, put his hands on Hassan's hips and lifted his bare buttocks. He kept one hand on Hassan's back and undid his own belt buckle with his free hand. He unzipped his jeans, dropped his underwear. He positioned himself behind Hassan. Hassan didn't struggle, didn't even whimper. He moved his head slightly, and I caught a glimpse of his face, saw the resignation in it. It was a look I had seen before. It was the look of the lamb.
That's awful.
Any further discussion?
I concur with you, and I personally believe that there's no room for books like these because they have no educational purpose.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you all that they meet almost every category outlined in our uh, policies of containing graphic violence, sexual content, profanity, ideations of self-harm. These, yeah, all of these books meet those categories.
Okay. With that, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
and Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Motion number 2, I move that the board deny acceptance of The Hate You Give, 13 Reasons Why, Beloved, Looking for Alaska, Speak, Fallout, Glass, Burned, Crank, and Smoke, intended for the high school library. Hate You Give and 13 Reasons also intended for the middle school library. In addition to these books not being relevant to our curriculum and being age inappropriate at this level, these books contain inflammatory racial commentary, excessive frequent profanity, explicit sexual activities, suicidal ideations, profanity, sexual nudity, and sexual activities. All of these books are rated as a 3 on the Book Looks rating system, which indicates they should be restricted to minors with parental guidance. Can I get a second?
I'll second
Second.
that.
Okay.
Is that Waller?
Yep.
And discussion. So in our board meeting, I read an excerpt from 13 Reasons Why. It was very hard to do, very hard. I've also become aware there are other districts in the US that removed this book. One of the districts, after 7 students committed suicide. Although the ratings were lowered to parental guidance, there's no guidance for a child when they're pulling it off of the shelf in the library to read it. I do not believe they are age appropriate for middle school. They do not align with our curriculum, and they ultimately contribute no educational value to our district.
Yeah, I agree.
can-
I mean, just to read an excerpt from 13 Reasons Why. Okay, I'll say it. I thought about suicide. I wish I would die. What about hanging? Well, what would I use? Where would I do it? And even if I knew what and where, I could never get beyond the visual of someone finding me swinging inches from the floor. You took pills that we all know. Some say you passed out and drowned in a bathtub full of water. I mean, this is almost like a how-to manual. This is not aligned with any educational standard that I know of. And it definitely, looking at our policy, definitely ideations of self-harm or mental illness, it definitely meets that, and those other books do as well.
I can chime in. The Hate You Give, which is one of the books that was also donated to the middle school library that could be 11 or 12-year-olds. A clip from page 81. Fooling around isn't new for us, and when Chris slipped his hands into my shorts, I didn't think anything of it. Then he got me going, and I wasn't really thinking at all. For real, my thought process went out the door, and right as I was at that moment, he stopped, reached into his pocket, and pulled out a condom. He raised his eyebrows at me, silently asking for an invitation to go all the way. All I could think about was those girls I see walking around Garden Heights, babies propped on their hips, condom or no condom, shit happens. I left his house pissed and horny, an absolute worst way to leave. So 11-year-old, appropriate for this type of material.
Absolutely not.
I mean, really, there is absolutely nothing in these books that even tie to our curriculum.
Absolutely, yeah. I have one other excerpt I wanted to offer on the book Glass. That's you know, a lot of these books deal with drugs as well. And this one is a quote from page 76 of the book Glass. It says, Robin is making a sizable buy. I sit, growing more anxious with every passing second, watching her weigh a half ounce of meth into 8 balls. She's into the deal, heavy. I mean, there she is, holding enough crystal to send her away for a very, very long time. My hands shimmy as I reach for the bindle Robin passes me. It's different from the meth making the rounds last year. This is hard little rocks and not much powder. Robin pulls out a glass pipe. Long for that punch to my sinuses, the one that hardcore users can no longer handle because of the gaping sinus cavity holes. Trey gives me a strange look and Robin says, geez, it has been a while since you've used, huh? You can't snort glass, Christina. You have to smoke this or shoot it. You're not into needles by chance, are you? And apparently no fine white lines to watch disappear into my nose. You can still find street lab crank. This is Mexican meth, as good as it comes, maybe 90% pure. It's pricey, of course, and worth every damn penny. And how much is that, I want to know. But before I can query, Robin drops a sparkling rock into her pipe. She lights a Bic, holds it well under the glass, and a fine plume of methamphetamine smoke lifts to greet her open mouth. The pipe travels next to Trey, who indulges, then passes it on to me. My hand trembles, anticipating treasure, long lost treasure. One slow, easy inhale sparks little explosion, firing directly into the pleasure center, igniting ecstatic bursts from eyebrows to toenails. Trey was right. Whatever it costs, it's worth it. I want to feel this great all the time. So drug usage is definitely not in our curriculum.
Any further discussion?
Yeah,
Okay.
if a music album had those lyrics in it, it would be explicit content. It would have a rating on it, and children wouldn't be allowed to buy it. So, yeah, they shouldn't be getting it off our shelves in the library.
Who were the movie?
Yeah, that's a good point that you guys brought up. Movies too. Movies have ratings, yet there's no guidance in the library for these young minds. I think this is appropriate.
Okay. Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Motion number 3, I move that the board deny acceptance of George intended for Running Creek Elementary Library. This book does not support any educational content within our elementary curriculum, and it is not age appropriate. This book is rated a 2 on the BookLooks rating system, and that indicates that the book has some content that may not be appropriate for children under age 13. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
Okay.
And
That was
discussion.
I would just remind everyone that Running Creek begins at age 5.
And everyone in Running Creek is under the age of 13. And this rating of 2 is that it's for not for students under 13. And so this 2 would definitely, the whole category is called teen guidance, and there aren't any teenagers in Running Creek Elementary. So this is definitely not appropriate and age-wise, age appropriate, and it definitely, this book would not directly relate to any of our board adopted academic standards, which is part of what our protocol states.
I agree with you 100%.
Well, I agree too. This book has sexually explicit content, drug use, And that is not conducive to learning by our children. It is not part of our policy and doesn't have any educational value.
Agree.
There's a quote from George, which is alternately named Melissa. On page 51, it said, George had seen an interview on television a few months ago with a beautiful woman named Tina. She had golden brown skin, thick hair with blonde highlights, and long sparkling fingernails. The interviewer said that Tina had been born a man, then asked her whether she'd had the surgery. The woman replied that she was a transgender woman and that was nobody's business but hers and her boyfriend's. So George knew it could be done. A boy could become a girl. She had since read on the internet that you could take girl hormones that would change your body, and you could get a bunch of different surgeries if you wanted them and had the money. This was called transitioning. You could even start before you were 18 with pills called androgen blockers that stop the boy hormones already inside you from turning your body into a man's. But for that, you needed your parents' permission. So again, I don't think that the process to transition is part of a curriculum that we would have. That would certainly be something that if a family chose to do that, that would be something that they would do in their own home with their own family, but certainly is not in the realm of what an educational institution such as our Elizabeth Public School District should be doing.
Okay. Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
and Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Motion number 4. I move that the board deny acceptance of It's Your World. If you don't like it, change it. And You Should See Me in a Crown, both intended for the middle school library. These books do not support any educational content within our adopted curriculum. Additionally, based on the content, both of the books are meant for students at a higher grade level. For example, if you look at the cover of You Should See Me in a Crown, the book states it's for high school and students going to college. So I question not only the age appropriateness, but also the academic value. I mean, there's really nothing in the books that would align with our curriculum.
Do we have a second on that one yet?
Second.
Oh. Sorry, second.
I agree completely with that. Both of these are definitely not age appropriate for the middle school where they were taken from. And as Rhonda indicated, there is inside the cover of the When You See Me in a Crown book, there's a statement by 17 magazine that says that this is appropriate for graduates and going into college level. So this is definitely not appropriate for there. And then It's Your World. That book is also has activism in it, has subjects such as abortion and gay rights and
Birth control.
birth control. Yeah, all of these are, again, things that would be more appropriate for a family to deal with in their own homes. These are not things that are in our curriculum, and so neither of these books would be supporting of our curriculum as we have approved our curriculum in our school district.
And to touch on the age appropriateness, our middle school starts in 6th grade. So we're talking 6th through 8th grade.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely not 6th through 8th grade content there.
Any further discussion on that one? Okay.
I
Can I get
don't think there's any discussion. I agree as well.
Okay. Can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, next, motion number 5. I move that the board accept Pride championing LGBTQ rights intended for the middle school with the condition the book not be placed back on the library shelf as its content is not consistent with our curriculum objectives nor the educational mission of the district. I propose this book be retained by the superintendent at this time.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, it's pretty clear it doesn't match any of our curriculum in any of our schools.
And I would agree. This book, while it does have some history of the Pride movement, it does seem to be pretty one-sided. I agree to accept it back, but retained by the superintendent.
Agree.
And again, middle school, 6 through 8. All right. If there's no further discussion, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
and Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, motion approved. Next up, I move that we direct council to draft for our review written findings on the rejection and acceptance on the donated books and provide to the board within 48 hours.
Second.
Any further discussion on that?
No, I
Okay.
think we
Appreciate
would
it.
like to have them write up the record of these decisions that we've made tonight as a board.
Okay, can I get a roll call?
Director Callahan,
Aye.
Director Fletcher,
Aye.
Director Olson,
Aye.
Director Powell,
Aye.
Director Waller.
Aye.
Okay, next up, board planning new business. Our next board meeting is April 7th, 2025 in the boardroom, our district office, 6 p.m. And with that, I move that we adjourn this meeting at 9:27. Well, I adjourn this meeting at 9:27 p.m.
All right.
Thank
All
you,
right,
everyone.
thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.